Alright, so today we're going to look at our first 4.2 review, because of course we want to pass the test, which is on Thursday. So, let's start with stem-changing verbs. So remember that a stem-changing verb, we're either going to add an accent grave, if there is no accent on the verb stem as is, or we'll change the direction of the accent if there is one, okay, which is typically changing an accent aigu to an accent grave. Not always, but like 95% of the time. This is always going to happen on the E. Okay? It will not happen on any other letter. Yes, there can be accent graves and aigus on the letter A, but they're fairly specific in their uses. So we're only going to worry about the letter E. This is also only going to happen in the boot. Okay, so that's the je, tu, il, elle, on, il, and elle boxes. So our entire first column and the last box and the plural column. Okay, that's because it kind of looks like a boot when we write out our conjugation charts, where you've got a real tall, skiddy spot for your calf, and then it juts out a little bit for your toes. The nous and the vous, okay, that space, that empty space, those stay the exact same as they were. Okay, those accents do not get added or do not get changed. The stem-changing verbs only change within the boot. And these verbs must simply be memorized. There's no way to look at a verb and tell if it's stem-changing or not. So we had 6 in this particular unit. So our first 3, préférer, to prefer, espérer, to hope, and répéter, to repeat or to rehearse. Those will all change the direction of the accent on the E/second E. Okay, so for example, in préférer, we're going to change that second E, so we'll have a PRE accent aigu, FE accent grave, R. And then our next 3, acheter, to buy, lever, to raise or to stand up, and promener, to take for a walk. Those will all add an accent grave also onto that final E in the stem. So, questions 1 and 2. Complete the following sentences by conjugating the verbs. Please write the entire sentence on your devoir. So, number 1. Les profs espéraient avoir des bons élèves. Okay, so the teachers hope to have good students. Okay, how would you conjugate to hope for this sentence? And number 2, nous promenons notre chien le soir. So we walk our dog every evening. How would you conjugate to walk in this sentence? Adjectives. Remember that adjectives always go after the noun, never before it. They must always agree with the noun in both number, so being singular or plural, and in gender, so being feminine or masculine. All of our adjectives' dictionary form is masculine singular. In order to make them feminine, all you have to do is add an E, unless the E is there already. So for example, on our word rouge, the masculine singular form already ends in an E, so we don't have to add a new one. And to make them plural, we'll typically add an S, unless it ends in a U, like bleu, and then we'll add an X. Again, unless there's already an X or an S at the end of the word. So for example, gris. So for example, if we have le sac à dos vert, so the green backpack, if we have more than one backpack, now we're suddenly plural. We're still masculine, but now we're plural, so now we're going to add an S. Les sacs à dos verts. If I switch my noun to a feminine one, such as la trousse, now I have feminine singular, so I have to add an E, la trousse verte. If I have more than one trousse, now I have to make it both feminine and plural, so I add both the E and the S, les trousses vertes. We have 3 somewhat irregular ones. So remember, violet, purple, becomes violette. We add another T before our E when we make violet feminine. Blanc, white, in the feminine will become blanche. We add an H before that E. And our adjective orange will never change at all. It doesn't matter if the word is masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. Orange is always orange. So, question 3 and 4. Write the color typically associated with the following items. Make sure that your adjective agrees with the noun. So if the noun you see is masculine singular, write a masculine singular adjective. If the word is feminine plural, write a feminine plural adjective. So number 3, des feuilles de papier. Okay, so what color would match des feuilles de papier? And number 4, une gomme. Give me a color that matches une gomme. And then finally, using adjectives as nouns. Okay, we can do this with any of our adjectives, though we've been practicing it with color since those are our new adjective vocabularies. Any single time that we don't want to repeat a particular noun over and over again, and the only difference is a particular adjective, all you have to do is drop the noun out of the phrase. Leave the article and the adjective. The noun is the only thing that we are dropping. So for example, if someone were to ask, do you prefer the yellow pencil or the gray one? In French, we're going to say, tu préfères le crayon jaune, the yellow pencil, ou le gris, the gray one? You can see that this is formed from the statement le crayon gris, so the gray pencil. But rather than having to repeat the word pencil again, we just took it out. So, question number 5. Respond to the following question using an adjective as a noun. Vous préférez la trousse blanche ou violette? Please write your response.